we will spend some more time on religion. I said so many things in the first lecture, and I know that I introduce unnecessarily large number of concepts, and you would not be clear about all of them immediately. The purpose was that when you open the book, so when you read, say, Gisbert's sociology, you should not find unfamiliar concepts. So my job was only to make some of these concepts familiar. For greater clarity on the subject, you have to read the book. And I am more interested in certain ideas about religion, not so much about concepts. There will be hundreds of concepts related to religion. Some basic classification is of course needed in any academic discipline. So we must know that there are certain religions with gods, without gods, one god, multiple gods, God in everything. So accordingly there are terms: atheism, theism, monotheism, polytheism, pantheism. And there are terms like superstition, magic, witchcraft, sorcery. And let me tell you that there is not enough clarity about these concepts even among technical writers or sociologists or social scientists. And many of these terms are used interchangeably. So you can, for example, you can find that people use the term magic for performing bad things also. So in a village, you meet a woman whose son is running high fever and ask, क्या हो गया? इसी में से किसी ने जादू कर दिया, magic कर दिया. So magic is used in common parlance. Magic, the term magic can also be used in a negative sense for achieving negative ends. जादू कर दिया इसलिए बुखार आ गया. But if we make a technical distinction, if we go according to, in academic disciplines like sociology, we will have to have differences in concepts, constructs. We have to have very precise meaning of the terms that we are using. They are definitional concepts, and therefore in academic context we will use them accordingly. So magic for positive purposes, witchcraft and sorcery for negative purposes. Witchcraft when the power is inside the body of the witch, and sorcery when something external or powers of something external is evoked. If you are interested, all students would not be interested in all topics covered in a course, but if you are interested in such topics, then we can have a more relaxed discussion on these things, and you are always welcome to my office. Now, since we have to cover so many things, and this may now be the last hour we have to spend on religion, so let me take up some other ideas of religion also. Emile Durkheim. If I have to pick up only one sociologist other than Karl Marx to say something on religion, I have to pick up Emile Durkheim, one of the founding fathers of sociology. This is one reason. Another reason that he in particular wrote a lot on the forms of religious life. His writings are particularly devoted to religion. And any textbook of sociology discussing the issue of religion refers first to writings of Emile Durkheim. Marx will come later. I introduce Marx first. because I discussed religion after discussing the organization of work, and I thought that I can make a connection between the two, and Karl Marx would be a more appropriate theoretician to make the connection. Otherwise, in any textbook of sociology, it will be either an anthropologist, Malinowski, or Emile Durkheim, mostly Emile Durkheim in sociology, who are referred first. Malinowski said that religion exists either because it satisfies some needs of individuals. Some anthropologists gave more importance to needs of individuals, some to needs of society. Individuals have certain needs, societies also have certain needs. As we have seen in the context of negative and positive functions of state. State has some needs, society has some needs, individuals also have some needs. So if religion exists, and this existence of religion has to be explained, functional sociologists will say that religion or something very much similar to religion, you can call it quasi-religion, exists everywhere. Ubiquitous. I like the term of Kingsley Davis very much, ubiquitous. For functional sociologists, something which is ubiquitous, which exists universally, everywhere, global, generic. There is no society in which religion or religion-like phenomenon does not exist. God may exist, God may not exist. That's a different thing. A religious text may exist, a religious text may not exist. People may believe in one religious person, seer, saint, historical person, or they may not believe in such person. But something like religion exists everywhere. And sociologists will say that Marxism, Leninism, or Maoism, or socialism and communism can also be seen as some kind of religion. Quasi-religion. Confucianism, the religion of China, did not believe in God. It believed in a kind of harmony. And it's a debatable issue, so some of you may agree, some of you may not agree. But my understanding is, whatever I have learned about religion, I have also read, of course, something of religious texts and participated in religious discourses. Religion did attract me. I also believe that Indian religions do not believe in God originally, and this belief in gods and goddesses is a later aberration which needs to be explained something in the framework of social theory. Otherwise, true or original philosophies of India are all free from the notion of God. Almost all philosophical texts of India start with the question, is it possible for us to end the suffering? I noted down the first shloka of Gita, the most revered of religious texts of Hindus. The question is simple. It starts with a simple issue. Dhritarashtra said, "O Sanjay," Dhritarashtra is talking to Sanjay, "O Sanjay, what did my son desirous of battle?" He knows that his son is desirous of battle. लड़ना चाहता है, क्षत्रिय है ना, क्षत्रिय है तो लड़ना चाहे. What did my son desirous of battle? And the sons of Pandu, no qualification, no adjective used for Pandu or Pandu's sons, do after assembling at the holy land of righteousness, Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra, where righteousness prevails, Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra is believed to be Dharma Kshetra. It may be used in a geographical sense or it may be in a metaphorical sense. What did they do? This was the question which led to production of a text which became Gita, the holiest of religious texts of Hindus in contemporary times. It's not a religious question. It has nothing to do with God. And if you read Gita, actually Gita does not ask you to believe in God. Gita only shows that these are the types of people, these are the goals of people, these are the strategies to achieve those goals. These strategies or these goals will lead to these consequences, but you have to decide. The reader has to decide what goal to follow, how and why, and how that thing can be actualized in daily life. And accordingly, there are so many interpretations of Gita. Those who believe in gods and goddesses, like ISKCON people, they have one interpretation. Lokmanya Tilak has another interpretation. Gandhiji had another interpretation. Aurobindo Ghosh has his own interpretation. Swami Chinmayanand has his own interpretation. And those who do not belong to Sanatan Dharma, Arya Samajis, they have their own interpretation of Gita. Everybody has. So that has become possible because Gita, I would say that Krishna of Gita is a teacher of philosophy, a holistic philosophy of life, and does not ask you to believe in him as ordinary devotees of Lord Krishna believe. So religions are with, without God. Confucianism, no God. Buddhism, no God. But if we define religion using the concepts of community, that whatever it means, whatever religious beliefs mean, they belong to a community. They are not individual. It's not that in a community, in a village or in a city, in a village say 5,000 people live, then religious belief of each individual is different. That cannot happen. Beliefs of 5,000 people living in the same village have a lot of similarity. And this similarity, this communal origin of belief systems is what defines religion. Otherwise it becomes a magic. Religion is not magic, it's not individual, it's common. So there is a community. Common beliefs of that community. Symbols, science, symbol, maybe Om. Om is a symbol. Do you know what is this 786? 786 is not a small. I thought that I will give an example of 786. Okay, when I talk about sacred proof. Symbols, there are symbols, science, maybe some specific text. Quran, Bible, Manu Smriti, Gita, Ramayana. Ideas, certain common ideas. Practices. Practices include ceremonies, festivals, repetitive rituals, and certain rites to be performed at certain times. At the time of birth, mostly at the time of birth, when child goes to school, at the time of marriage, at the time of reproduction or birth of a baby, at the time of death. There are some practices, common practices of the people. Identity, a sense that you belong to that religion. Identity. And since it is a communal question, since religion is a communal question, so needs of the community, perceived needs of the community are also part of the religion. Needs of the community. A religion is defined by all these things. And if I define religion in terms of these things, needs of community, identity of individuals belonging to that religion, a sense that there is a community of believers and it has certain beliefs, there are some symbols, signs, some texts, ideas and practices, festivals, rituals, rites. Then in that sense, even non-religious philosophies, even something like Nazism or Marxism or a complete unshaken belief in market mechanism or utilitarianism can be seen as kind of religious beliefs or quasi-religious beliefs. If you are a socialist, if you are born and brought up in the second, third, fourth decades of the last century in USSR, then you identified with Soviet Russia, you believed in the community of workers, community of Russia and communists of, you believe that all the workers of the world need to be united and you are a part of the community of workers. You believe that Marx is the first and the most important interpreter of history in the interest of the working classes. You know, you see, there is no difference between two. A person believes that Prophet Muhammad is the last and most important messenger of God, and another person believes that Karl Marx is the only or the most important interpreter of history, who understood why the conditions of the working class or the condition of man are bad and how conditions of man can be improved. There is no difference. So from that point of view, both the people are religious. Karl Marx may say that he doesn't believe in religion, but Marxists are as much religious as the Islamists or the Muslims. There is no difference between the two. Symbols, they also have symbols. The communist flag. One may believe, Muslims may believe in 786. The number 786 is very important, is of religious importance to them. So Hindus, I see that some students on their copies in exam write Jai Santoshi Ma or make Om or can make 786. And if a student is Marxist, Pakka Marxist, then he can make a sign of Hasya and Hathoda, sickle and hammer and sickle, because Marxist symbol is hammer and sickle. So, no, if I am an objective person, I am neither Hindu nor Muslim nor Marxist, for me there is no difference. I will treat all of them samely. For me, all of them are only expressing certain belief systems and making certain symbols which phenomenologically speaking have the same meaning to them. Somebody who is making a symbol of hammer and sickle, or somebody who is writing 786, or somebody who is writing Om, or somebody who is writing Jai Santoshi Ma, is only expressing similar type of feeling, thinking, belief, from phenomenological perspective. It's the same feeling, same ideas, same securities, insecurities, same confidence, lack of confidence, same organization, disorganization which they are expressing. And from that point of view, Marxism or communism is also religious. Tax may be Quran or tax may be capital. How does it make a difference? There is some text. For Hindus it can be Ramcharitmanas. For Muslims it can be Quran, and for Marxists it may be the Capital or the Communist Manifesto, or for devoted Gandhiites who take to Gandhian philosophy in a religious sense, the book Hindu Swaraj can serve the same purpose. So there is a text, there are certain ideas, and there are certain practices. Practices may be different, but there are common practices. So all of them are religious. Looked at from this perspective, sociologists like Emile Durkheim will say that everybody is religious. As long as there is society, as long as there is community, as long as individual's consciousness is determined by the collective consciousness. Consciousness is collective. Our thought systems, beliefs, ideas, philosophies are collective. And as long as collective consciousness affects our consciousness, we are all some kind of religious people. Religious ideas may be different, but we are all some kind of religious people. So a Bolshevik or a young socialist of 30s in Soviet Russia, or a utilitarian or a liberal intellectual, a capitalist, an apologist of capitalism, or a Gandhiite, or a Lohiite, or a Dalit thinker, Ambedkarian or a Dalit thinker, they are all religious people. If somebody believes that whatever Dr. Ambedkar says is right and that is the only right, if it conflicts with anything else, then only Dr. Ambedkar is to be believed. Then he is also a kind of religious person. There is no difference between that person and a Islamic. We believe that Muslims are the most devoted kind of persons, most organized, most devoted. But if somebody believes that what Dr. Ambedkar says can only be right, and if it conflicts with writings or ideas of anyone else, then Dr. Ambedkar only is to be accepted. He is also a religious person. So looked at from this perspective, all of us are religious because all of us are part of society and our individual consciousness is determined by collective consciousness. This also means that if all the people of a community or a society believe in the same ideas, then society is clear, we are also clear. If we live in plural society, where different sections of society or different classes or different regions or cultures or linguistic groups believe in different things and conflicting things. The beliefs of one culture conflict with beliefs of another culture. India is the best example. A plural society, all religions, all languages, all cultures, all belief systems are found here. And there is a conflict between different beliefs. If there is no conflict, no problem. But since we have so many ideas and there is a conflict between these ideas, so there will be conflict within us also. Then we will be, from sociological perspective, we are also religious people and our religion is contradiction. Our ability to withstand or live in the midst of contradictions is our religion. Our religion, in a plural society, confusion becomes the religion. So we are all confused, not in a pathological sense, we are happy. in a happy state of confusion. We are all in a happy state of confusion, and that is the new form of religion. And in this new form of religion, then anything can happen. Sometimes you can act in a way of a terrorist, and sometimes you become the most liberal person, sometimes you become a Dalit, sometimes you become Ambedkarian, sometimes you become a great devotee of Hanumanji, anything. Because this is the society we live in. Looked at from this perspective, religion exists because it satisfies certain needs of individuals and needs of society. Emile Durkheim says that to understand this collective nature of religion, you see, all religions make a difference between sacred and profane. And to understand that why people are religious or what is the true nature of religion, you have to see the difference between sacred and profane. Sacred is set apart from others. Anything which is set apart from others in a positive sense or in a negative sense. Holy, unholy, auspicious, inauspicious. That is sacred. Different. Sacred is different from others. Among Hindus, Tulsi as a plant is different from others. You worship Tulsi. You may say, some Hindus may say, but you see, Tulsi, anyway, Tulsi is a different type of plant. It has lots of medicinal value. But there are all plants have medicinal value. Which plant does not have medicinal value? From every plant, some or other kind of medicine which can be given in treatment of some or other disease can be prepared. It's not the medicinal reason. It's that the society of Hindus treat Tulsi differently from other plants. Sacred thread, some of you may be donning sacred thread, or all of you, I'm sure that all of you have seen sacred thread. Sacred thread is different from other threads. It's not an ordinary rope or thread or mala or something ordinarily made from a piece of cloth or some other cotton threads or polyester threads. Sacred thread is different. There are so many animals, but cow is different. Cow is sacred. I thought that I will give you example of this in this context. 786, 785 plus 1. Algebraic value is same. But Muslims will not write 785 plus 1. Muslim drivers will not write 785 plus 1 on their tempos. Or Muslim students will not write 784 plus 2 on the answer books. They will write 786. 786 is different. There is no scientific connection between 786 and achievements. You may write 786 and still get 0. You may write Om on your answer book and get 0. You may write Jai Santoshi Mata and still get 0. And you may not write anything and get 100%. It's not a scientific connection. But this number is different. Om is different. Even in languages, Sanskrit is different. Sanskrit is sacred. Real Brahmin priests, when they conduct some puja, are expected to say something in Sanskrit. They will recite some slokas or mantras, whether they understand them or not, or whether their pronunciation, accent is correct or not, that is a different thing. But they are expected to speak Sanskrit, because Sanskrit is sacred. For Christians, likewise, 10 commandments will have some special significance. It's not ordinary 10 commandments. 10 commandments and ideas expressed in those specific 10 commandments are very important. Bible is not an ordinary book. It's sacred. Similarly, in the same way, Emile Durkheim will say that the Communist Manifesto as a book, it is not to be treated as an ordinary book of sociology or history or economics. Communist Manifesto is sacred. For Gandhiites, Hindu Swaraj is a sacred book. For a devoted Gandhiite, Hindu Swaraj will, phenomenologically speaking, carry the same meaning which Guru Granth Sahib will carry for an ordinary Sikh. He may not know what is written in Hindu Swaraj. Many Sikhs also do not know what is written in Guru Granth Sahib. Many Hindus do not know what is written in Ramcharitmanas. There are debates and conflicts, and they do not know what is written in Manusmriti and Gita. But it is sacred. So if somebody says something that he doesn't believe in Hindu Swaraj, because Gandhi said this thing which is irrelevant today, then the Gandhiites will start fighting. They may not have seen the book, but they will start fighting. Or they will say, ki, nahi, you have a wrong interpretation, or without reading Hindu Swaraj, they will try to defend it. The point is that in each community, in each collectivity, certain things are kept apart. Food. In food also there may be food, and sacred may be of one type or another, good or bad, negative, positive, auspicious, inauspicious. So pig is also sacred. Cow is sacred. This sacred does not mean good or bad. It can be anything, but it is set apart. That is more important. It is set apart. It is different from other things. Cow is sacred for Hindus, although it is to be protected. Cow is like mother. Pig is sacred for Muslims because pig cannot be eaten. It's in the negative sense that pig cannot be eaten. You can't even to mention name of pig is bad, un-Islamic. So, there are things set apart, and as long as there is a distinction between sacred and profane, there is religion. The essence of religion lies in collective division of things, ideas, symbols, signs, totems, plants, animals, which we worship together in collectivity, maybe family, large family, caste, community, nation. As long as I remember in Western UP, there is a caste of Rajputs. I had a Rajput friend from whom I was interested. Even when I was not a sociologist, I used to take interest in social issues of this kind. And from him I learned that in his community in Western UP, tortoise was a sacred thing. So Rajput women, when they went to the field, and if they ever saw a tortoise, they must immediately cover their face, because tortoise for them was to be treated like father-in-law. Tortoise, कछुआ राजपूत महिलाओं का ससुर था. अब हमको हंसी आ सकती है, जैसे if we do not belong to that culture or that community, we may laugh at it. But if we belong to that community, then it's sacred for us. And we will take an offense if others laugh at our beliefs or ideas. That then I realized, later on when I read Imail Durkheim, then I realized what is the meaning of totem, or this totem for Rajput women of Western UP, then tortoise was a totem. It may be animal, it may be plant, it may be any artifact which has some kind of sacred importance. The whole collectivity keeps it apart from others. Sanskrit, we do not teach Hindus. For Hindus, Sanskrit has special significance. It is the language of gods. Sacred thread is different, cow is different, tulsi is different. कई बार तो मुझे, when I am in a non-religious mood and people tell me ये देवी है, हनुमान जी है, ये है, ये है, मुझे शिव जी है, ये डॉक्टर अम्बेडकर है, मुझे सब एक जैसे ही दिखाई दे. कई बार कुछ भी मिट्टी का ढला या पत्थर या कुछ भी लेके आप रख दीजिए, if and depending on to which community you believe, you say it is that. Many times I was told कि ये देवी है और मुझे वो हनुमान जी लग रहे थे, या किसी ने कहा ये हनुमान जी है वो देवी लग रही थी, किसी ने कहा ये, किसी ने अगर बताया कि ये डॉक्टर अम्बेडकर की मूर्ति रखी थी, वो मुझे हनुमान जी लग रहे थे. क्योंकि आई डिड नॉट बिलोंग, आई वॉज नॉट इन दैट रिलीजियस मूड इन विच दोज पीपल वर. आई सॉ देम ओनली फ्रॉम आउटसाइड, बट आउटसाइड इमेज इज नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट. वेरी जोकिंगली, अच्छा ठीक है, ज़्यादा नहीं, तो there are totems, there are sacred things. All communities, all religious, non-religious, all communities, they divide things into sacred and profane. And what Bronislaw Malinowski says, that there are needs of individuals and society. Same thing is said by Talcott Parsons, that all of us, all human beings, we realize our limitations. We want to have so many things in life. We want to achieve the ultimate, the perfect. But we are not able to achieve. We know our limitations. We are aware of external forces. So, there are certain needs of individuals. Emotional needs, cognitive needs, emotional needs, meanings, part of cognition, meanings. Why does one have to die early? You see an infant dying, what has the infant done wrong because of which he could not survive for 6 months? Why is there injustice in society? Why is there so much of problem in the world? Epidemics, plague, Kala Jar, tuberculosis. Why cruelty? Why life at all? What is my relationship with the universe? There are questions. There are emotional issues. When I am in a problem, I want to know why me only. If there is chicken pox, we know, as a medical doctor, we can or as students or teachers or administrators, we can have one view of chicken pox. But when I get chicken pox, then somebody has to answer my question, why me? Why was I selected for chicken pox? Why am I suffering? Is there a way that I do not suffer? Is there any possibility of end of suffering? If there is dacoity in my house, otherwise we know that there are dacoities, there are crimes. But why dacoity in my house? What have I done wrong? Is there a way in which I do not face the suffering of dacoity? कुछ कर सकते हैं क्या? जॉन्डिस, डॉक्टर्स जॉन्डिस, टाइफाइड, डॉक्टर विल टेल यू भाई it will take some time. I am giving you medicine, right, antibiotics, take care. Eat this, do not eat that, but it will take 10-15 days. And the person suffers emotionally, psychologically, he is under tremendous stress. Why me? Can something else be done? Is it not possible at all that I recover in 2 days' time? So there are emotional issues. And then at that time somebody will come and say, okay, I know one Ojha who can make you recover from jaundice in just 2 minutes' time. He will come, do certain puja, and you can see that if you put your hands in water, the whole jaundice will go out of your body in the water. You can see that the whole water becomes yellow and jaundice has gone. You feel very happy. हम कितनी भी सोशियोलॉजी की किताबें पढ़ लें, अगर मुझे जॉन्डिस हो जाए और मेरा बेटा बेटी मेरी पत्नी मेरी माँ कहे कि अपनी अकल छोड़ो, गांव में एक पंडित जी हैं वो जॉन्डिस 2 मिनट में दूर कर देते हैं. वो आएंगे और अब तुम अपनी आँख से देख लोगे कि जब तुम हाथ पानी में डालोगे पानी पूरा पीला पड़ जाएगा. एंड यू विल बी रिकवर्ड ऑफ जॉन्डिस इन 2 मिनट्स टाइम. I will be tempted to call it. This is the source of relief. So when there are moments of stresses, anxieties, meaning, one day I gave you the example that when you buy a car, you are in a greater religious mood because there is more anxiety, more cost, more uncertainties involved in car. So Malinowski found among fishermen that who went for fishing in deep sea water, they had more elaborate rituals and they were in a greater religious mood as compared to those who were fishing at the seashore. ये उसी तरह की बात हुई कि कार खरीदी तो you are in a more religious mood when you buy a t-shirt from your mess. बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट ने मिलके टैकृति की शर्ट्स मंगवा ली. देन यू डू नॉट टेक योर टैकृति शर्ट टू हनुमान जी का टेम्पल. क्या है उसमें, इट्स सो चीप, फट जाएगी, दूसरी ले लेंगे. देर आर नो ग्रेट स्टेक्स इन्वॉल्व इन दैट. बट मे बी वेन यू कम टू IIT कानपुर, वेन you were admitted to IIT Kanpur and you left your home, then your parents involved in some kind of puja, depending on your religious belief, faith, traditional faiths of your village community, your family. They did some puja. Maybe some of them could not do puja immediately, but when you had come after 15 days or 1 month, they must have done some puja. Because there are more uncertainties associated with 4 years of life at IIT Kanpur. What Bronislav Malinowski observed in the case of fishermen, we observe every day here. सही नहीं है कि जब आपके पेरेंट्स ने आपको लास्ट टाइम कोई शर्ट दिलाई होगी तो देर वॉज नो सत्यनारायण की पूजा और देर वॉज नो डिजायर टू गो टू शिरडी का साई टेम्पल और टू अजमेर शरीफ और टू हैव दर्शन ऑफ सम चर्च इन गोवा और इन केरला, ऐसे कुछ. बट व्हेन यू केम टू IIT कानपुर, then there was puja. This is what Bronislav Malinowski said, that when there are more uncertainties, insecurities, anxieties, then to have some confidence, some to believe that things will be better, organized, simple, stress-free, or when somebody dies. Death is a big disruption for social life. Then people will assemble If somebody's son dies, then the neighbors will come, young men from the neighborhood will come and console and say, ताऊ हम भी तो आप ही के बेटे हैं, चिंता मत करो. All of them will forget. Next moment they will forget. If that Tao will come to them and ask for some money, they will not give. But at that moment at least, they will go and Tao हम सब तुम्हारे ही बेटे तो हैं, ताऊ चिंता मत करो. राम प्रसाद गया, हम भी राम प्रसाद ही हैं. तो if at least a false, it may be false, but a sense of continuity and non-disruption, that not, society has not been disrupted. Society has, for sociologists, everything is social. Society has not been disrupted. There is solidarity, integration, and a belief that not much, at least artificially putting a belief that no great damage has been done to the social organization. So they will say, ताऊ चिंता मत करो, अब रो मत, उसकी आत्मा को दुख होगा, उसको भूल जाओ. अभी तुमको ये काम, you have to arrange for your daughter's marriage, you have to repair your house, you have to take care of your couch, you have these other responsibilities. You focus on this, and we are there anyway. We are no different from your son. There are also jokes in this context. Nobody comes, and if somebody's wife dies, then the women from neighborhood do not come and say, don't worry, we are like your wife. But that is a joke. That becomes a joke. Actually, jokes also have a social content. That becomes a joke. But behind this, the idea is that there is no social disruption. So Talcott Parsons and Bronislaw Malinowski, they focus on this. A sense of continuity, a sense of meaning. This also means that in any society in which there are more uncertainties, there will be more belief in religion. So my religion is one topic on which we can spend hours, but I would like to stop here. But at the end I will say that although we believe that in scientific age we will have a more secular society and religiosity will decline, what we find that reverse of this is happening, that in the scientific age religious and superstitious beliefs are on rise. The reason is to be found in increasing complexity of social life, uncertainties, meaningless situation, unpredictability, uncertainty, loss of meaning in life, loss of great ideas. When these things happen, and in plural society, there will be tendencies in religion or religions to revive. And that is why religion seems to be reviving. It has no substance, but the fact that society is passing through a transitional phase and there are uncertainties and anxieties, and science has developed a critique of its own, is the reason why non-science is becoming popular. In the next class we will spend time on education.